Hi, Christy here, Real Fit for Real Life, and I am in my living room with my adorable pets. And I have decided to start a how-to series to really break it down, these basic exercises, break it down for those of you who are completely new to fitness, maybe a little intimidated by some of these exercises. You're intimidated to walk into a gym. Also, those of you who have been going to the gym for years, but maybe no one ever took the time to really help you learn and fine-tune how to do these base movements. So if you can't do a base exercise, it's very hard to progress and add on. So today we're going to start with a plank. The plank is so important because it is the base move for push-ups. It is the base move for anything TRX, yoga, Pilates. You have to be able to know how to plank. There are different types of planks depending on your direction. So just the classic face down type of plank is our regular plank. There's low and high. And then there's also side planks, again low and high, and there's incline planks, low and high. So those are our main planks. Today we're going to start with the basic regular plank that you know and you've seen and heard of and is the base for your push-ups. So what's really important with your plank is to make sure that you're creating a nice long line through the crown of the head, through the spine, and you have a natural curve in the spine, a natural in curve in the cervical spine through the neck, a little bit of an out curve in the thoracic spine, a little in curve in the lumbar spine, and out again through the sacrum and tailbone. And you want to maintain that in your plank. So if you feel like you're too straight, you might be doing something awkward with the pelvis. Often we want to tuck, and you don't need to do that. You do need to keep this belly really firm though, to hold this lumbar spine. Because if your belly isn't firm, your lumbar spine can collapse. And that's probably the hardest thing about a plank. And a plank is not easy, even though, everyone does it. It doesn't mean that it's easy. So we want to protect that low back, most important. So one thing that I like to do, if you're just learning, is maybe like have a pillow or a yoga block or something to help you see if your hips are dropping too low. Hips being too low or hips being too high is the biggest issue. So we'll start in our low plank, up on your elbows, and I just have my hands kind of together, but you could also open them out so they're parallel. You want to make a nice line from the elbow to the shoulder, so make sure your shoulder isn't past the elbow and not behind the elbow, just right on top. I call it a strong column. So make your columns and then press into your toes. Now, most of us have a tendency, when I am teaching a class and I look around a room of 30 people, probably half of them are going to be a little bit up here. Okay? So if in doubt, bring those hips down. So if you've got a thick pillow, this is helpful because you can see right where your hips should go. Now, a plank is a full body move. So you want to engage everything. You're strong in your chest and shoulders. Your gaze is straight down. You're pulled up through your belly, navel to spine. You're squeezing together through your inner thighs. You're powering through your quads, those front thighs, and you're pressing actively into your toes. So you're strong in so many muscles. And if you're doing this right, you are already shaking because everything is squeezed and firm. Your glutes are engaged. I mean, every muscle that you can possibly think of is powered up. Now, I tend to be a little ski-wumpus in my hips structurally, so sometimes it helps if you kind of wiggle out the hips and see if you're a little too high on the left or the right. If you don't know, take a picture, have someone watch you, look in a mirror, see what's going on those hips. You want to be nice and level. So, okay, that was a long hold. If you're doing it right, you will fatigue quickly. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Ideally, you want to build up that strength so you can get to a minute. Now, if starting on the toes is a little too challenging, start on your knees. Same thing, columns, shoulders to elbows, and then just drop the hips. Now with a pillow, it's kind of hard to do that. But you want to drop the hips so that your hips are with your spine and not way out here. So you're still, and press into your toes still. By just tucking those toes under, you'll get that ab work, even in a modified low plank. High plank, you're just gonna take it up to the hands, spread those fingers. I always say, show me your full hand, like you're tracing your hand with a crayon. And then press into the fingers. So you're not putting too much pressure into the wrists. Make sure again that you've got strong columns. So you don't want to be too far forward. That's where you can snap that wrist. You don't want to be too far back. You want to be stacked. Find that column. Elbows are soft. So make sure that you're not locked, hyperextended. I see that a ton. Like personal trainers hyperextend. What that does is it puts bone on bone. You're stacking everything onto the skeletal structure so that your muscular structure doesn't have to work. And it's bad on your skeletal structure. It'll start to wear and tear at those joints. So you want to put it in the muscle, right? So don't lock. Now again, watch those hips. I kind of wiggle mine out to make sure I'm not too high. Drop just a little bit because if in doubt, unless you feel like you're kind of here, but really squeeze up through those abs, squeeze and engage through the legs. You're really strong. See, I'm already shaking. So a high plank, low plank, so much work. Again, you could drop to the knees, tuck the toes under, zip up the abs. Modified high plank. Yes? Good. And then stretch that out with a nice child's pose. So that is your basic plank. Very challenging to do it right. I see so many people kind of just going through the motions and they're not rock solid. So there you go. There's your how-to. Get your rock solid plank and you can do so much more. Thanks for joining me, Christy, Real Fit for Real Life.